All right, friends, we're finally, I think, above freezing for the first time in weeks. I mean, the sun's out, I hear water running, so we have the potential of, you know, not having a miserable time very much more. Everything's still covered with snow and impossible to find, but other than that, we're doing great. So we're gonna try to make some progress on this feller, and we're gonna do that right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, Brownstown Man. This here, 1250A. We've been working on this rim. It's over there in the background. Yeah, we had to patch it. Then I painted the silver, and then this miserable snow happened, and that's where everything has just sat. I have since worked inside the house, getting this all cleaned up, and these are ready to go back together. They turn at fingers touch, you know, and that's important. We'll also need to dig in the snow and find the other piece of that, which has also been painted, and it's laying on a piece of cardboard. I think I know where they are, but our first step is going to be, we want to mount the white center onto this, yeah, that thing. But the first thing we got to do is find us a socket that's going to do the job. I don't know where my normal socket set is that I use, but we're gonna, I've got some short well ones in here. Hopefully we can find a flavor that will work, especially since, you know, this is probably metric and we're using standard tools, but that's fine. Actually, I think that the adapter rings, I think they were made over here. I think those are Oliver parts, those little spacer adapters. Some of the tractors have them and some don't. This is one of the ones that does. And yeah, I don't know where to put you that you can actually see, but also got to pay attention. I can't remember if there was one of these holes I thought wasn't very good. Is that the one? I don't know. We might keep an eye on that. All right, let's go get that wheel center, which it's laying on the trailer. Also, hopefully the snow will melt off the trailer, because I have a feeling that more treasures are laying on there that I can't find. I know that the spin out stop is somewhere back in there, because I had to use the torch to heat it up to get it loose off of the rim, and that's where I was working. And I left it lay there because I thought, hey, that'll be a nice place, right? See, we're gonna go this way here. Everything's probably not gonna participate, because why would it, you know? Paint, that's why. All right, hopefully you can see. I don't even know if I pushed record, did I? Looks like I did, right? Sure. Let's see what happens. Let's give it even ugga-dugga. last one. Sure. Now, we get to play scavenger hunt. I think that hump...
What hump?
That hump right there is actually our wedges. I don't know though, because it's drifted up here, but that was somewhere in the neighborhood. Whoa, about fell down. That was somewhere in the neighborhood of where I was. Yeah. Okay, well, what you're gonna want to do is immediately throw them onto the ground now. Is that 4? Yeah. Well, friends, we're gonna have to thaw those out a little bit because we can't have no ice on them, especially down in the pockets. That's gonna be important. So let me get some, I guess I'm just, bovines are distracting me now. I'm looking them over. What I gotta do, I gotta mount 2 of them on there, and then I can hang the rim on, and then I can mount the other 2 in. I can't do all of them. I might be able to now that there's no stop and now that they're all loose, but it's typically just easier to do 2, hang it on there, and then bolt them in because of stuff and things. And the other thing is to make sure that we still have all of our, there should be 8 of these. 2, 4, 6, 7, and then I just dropped one. 8. I should probably also go find lock washers because I'm at least 2 missing, and some of these others are just crap. So, but I did manage to save all of those, so we should be able to participate here. Let me go get some lock washers, and then I'll clean the ice off of these things, and then hopefully we'll be ready to go here in just a minute. All right, I guess I'll set you over to the side again and you can watch, because you know, I can zoom in on the after the fact if it looks like you can't get a good idea of what's happening. But we're gonna put a couple bolts here, there, and yonder here. Also, I realized another thing. Well, for one, I should have painted those bolts, but that's okay. I just want this on 4 wheels again. Cosmetics, we can deal with later. Like when it's warm outside and we don't have miserable times. I'm also not sure if I have, I'm thinking there's only one position you can have this in where you can get the impact on it. But that may not be true. I've got, I think it's 1 inch is what this takes. Yeah, let's see if it'll participate. Here's stuff falling. That's fine. Stuff's falling. The phone's going off. It's just a grand old time, friends. I'd say what that was is that chain. Yeah. I don't know what he was doing, but he had this chain stuffed behind that fender. And I pulled it off here the other day. But I don't know. Let's see here. This one's kind of not participating. Let's see if I can make it participate again. Come on. Come on. Come on. It's gonna go, friends. We're gonna make it happen. You still happy with that? Looks like you are. Hopefully. Well, you want me to have to get... Ah! That one's kind of questionable. I hope it'll tighten up. That, watching me there, that bolt. Hope so. Man, am I going to drop everything today? Let's see. Okay. All right. I did think of another thing I should have got and didn't, and I hope there's some right over here, and that's grease. I like to put a little grease on the, and maybe that's not the thing to do, but I've always smeared a little layer on these, and then hopefully it'll keep playing the ball game later on when we ever have to spin it out. A brand new unopened tube, so let's ruin it, right? Let's just... use it for inappropriate stuff. It doesn't take much. I just want a little bit of insurance on each of these. And that's the best way I know how to do it, is just... We're getting her. Alright. Oh, we need to spin them down again. All right, again, in case this doesn't make sense to you or you never understood these are just sitting in there. There's no mechanical connection between this piece and this. All it does is the nut wedges down against here and makes this longer or shorter, and then that lets you spin the rim in and out. So now we're gonna hang that rim on here, and then we're gonna do our final two pieces. We'll have to get down low and make that happen, but it's just easier than trying to figure out how to get it to jump on. Now, like I said, now that I've got them all collapsed, it might be fine, but I'm just gonna do it this way. So I'm gonna go get that rim, and then we'll make this happen. Easy. Easy. Now we're gonna make sure our valve stem is out, because that was the whole point of this. What? Yeah, we didn't get it right. That's fine. Put that one there. We're actually going to end up, you know, pretty far in. Pretty far in, but that's okay. We'll do the final setting after we get it mounted up. Right now, what I'm worried about is I want to paint that. Badly. So, well, I don't want to paint it badly. I badly want to paint it goodly. Alright. I'll get this all lubered up. Hopefully you'll last your 11% battery, but I gotta go get the paint anyway, so it's in the house, staying warm. Okay, let's see if we can... Oh, that's drove to the ground. Okay, not gonna do that. Okay. Let's see if we can... make this go. I should have been more prepared, which I'm not. Let me get one bolt. I can manage one at a time. Come on. Okay, there's one. And it becomes obvious that I'm probably going to have to, well, I can't get the impact in down there. And also I can't hardly, oh. It may not spin anymore. I never thought of that. Well, is it in gear? What I'm getting at is, hopefully it's not froze, because we don't know anything about the oil situation in the transmission. So, oh, we're struggle bussing. Let's see here. Let's spin it out. Alright. Let's get the other one on. And then we'll worry about trying to turn it somehow. It's not wanting to go. I'm worried that the tractor has water in the transmission a little bit, and it's probably froze and it won't let it go. That's kind of what I'm wondering, because it didn't act like it wanted to spin very good. And we know it will because I've done it before. Okay, come on. Because those are up too high. I'd say that one's up too high. Okay, we're going to struggle. That's fine. Now. Yes, there we go. Now we're getting there. Now we're getting there. Come on. One more. I think I can probably get the impact to this back one. Let's see. Ah, come on. Come on. Alright, we're getting there. We really need to rotate it now though, so I can get this one tight, which I can't do. And I bet I'm not going to get it. Well, friends, sometimes I guess things aren't meant to be. I guess I won't get this done today. And the reason being is, first of all, we can't rotate it because it's obviously got water in there and it's set up pretty hard, and I don't want to destroy stuff. We're not in a hurry. We don't need to use this tomorrow, so it would be best to just leave it alone. Second problem I'm having is I'm not happy now in the light of sobriety many days later. I'm not perfectly happy with some of this pitting. And so what I'm going to do is get some JB Weld and do it. Actually, there's a little pinhole right there, which is not a big deal. It would probably be perfectly fine, but a little bit of JB Weld in there, smoothing that out, I think will help our cause in the long run. Used to, I would even put, like on some of them, I would put Bondo around, and I don't know that was the thing to do, but it has been holding because those ones are still around here doing their thing. But I'm gonna get some JB Weld and do that, and that way it's a little extra insurance, because some of those places I just don't want the tube to get a hole in it right away, rubbing on some unevenness. So that's going to be that. Also, the GoPro battery died, if that is not obvious, because we're on the phone now. But I got the wheel on. I got it assembled. Everything's tight except for that one pair of bolts here. But I can't do anything about it till I can turn it because I can't get to it. So that's okay. We'll live with that. It looks snazzy though. It'll be just what we want. So now we have to also clean up this, because it doesn't make much sense to paint one and not the other while we have the stuff out. Obviously, they were going tubeless. No wonder the thing wouldn't hold air. You can't run a rusty rim like this as a tubeless tire. You just can't. I don't try to do that on any of these old tractors because it's just not worth the headache that you're going to have always airing it up and stuff. So somewhere around here we had a vice grip. Let's pull that out. There it is. Let's pull the valve stem out. I don't know. Are we going to accomplish this? Hey, it actually pulled out instead of just self-destructing. A lot of times it'll rip and then you have to go digging that out anyway. But I brought the wire whirligig here along with me. But that means I got to run an extension cord over here in the snow, so that's good. But I think I'm going to do that and give her a try and see if I can't get some of that cleaned up so that it's ready to go as well. And then whenever we get, I'm bad about always hanging my hand in front of this phone camera. But if we get that cleaned up and ready to go, tomorrow it's supposed to be 60 degrees. And it's probably not going to be enough to melt that out of there. I could use that torch and run it right under there and heat up the rear end like the old timers did until we could go. But I would just rather wait instead of doing that. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna try to clean up on that front rim, and then we'll decide what to do. Maybe I'll try tomorrow to paint this anyway. Maybe I can get creative and, lay on the ground and reach under and paint. I just know I'll miss some doing it that way, but hey, I could get most all of it. And if a little bit doesn't get painted, why, I guess that would be okay too. But it sure would be nice to have this on the road to recovery here. So, because it doesn't do anybody any favor. It's tying up my jack for one, and a handyman jack. So we can't have that. But I'd like to get it away from here. And then I can clean up all my crap that never got picked up, like all the empty cans of the good old magic smelling salts there. Yeah. So I'll get me an extension cord and see if I can electrocute myself and get that front wheel cleaned up. All right, fans of failure. I think we might have actually accomplished something. That cleaned up pretty good. There were some serious rust scales on here, but I think that's going to be fine. So that's ready to go. Whoops, this silly snow. It's melting just enough that you walk on it and then all at once you break through and it about trips you up. But so that's ready to paint inside. That is ready to paint inside, with the exception of if I do put some JB Weld on. I don't know that that's just an absolute necessity, but I think it would make me feel better because I did a lot of work on that to try to get that without, I don't want it to fail now, and I really don't want to take it off and start welding on it again because I don't think that's necessary. We'll just give it a little bit on there and it'll be ready to go. So basically we're gonna have to leave this one here until it's warm enough for long enough that we can maneuver that wheel again. I can probably paint it like this and get by with it, but I really need lots of warm thawing to happen so that will spin again And that, in my experience, like with that Cialis, that takes a while. Like it can be warm for a good while and it'll still be frozen inside there. So I don't know. I'm still not going to make progress on this, I guess, is the sad part. We also need to let our tires thaw out, you know. It's kindly full of, it's not as bad as I thought it would be, but, and the front one's the same way. It's got a little bit of ice in it. That's okay. You know, this little one's small enough I could take it in the house if I had to and let her thaw out good, but I'm not carrying that big one in there for that. But we'll just leave her sit here in the sun. That's probably the best place for it. That'll get us what we need. I really don't like that my GoPro's dead and I have to film with this stupid phone, because then I get weird shadows and I don't know. But yeah, the little feller's coming along. It's just a little bit slow, you know. That's the way she goes. Like I said, we're not in any mad rush to use anything, so I would like to get it on 4 wheels again, so that, you know, as soon as we get that 550 out of there, I want to put this in and try to put a clutch in it, because this one has the potential to be in use right away, because we got everything going as far as I know. We might still have to work on a little bit. I don't remember if the steering was great on this one. For some reason, I think it wasn't. So we'll have to dive into that. It's kind of a cross between the regular 1250, and it's more similar to the regular 1250 than it is like the 1265 and that. So we'll have to dive into that. But I would say that cylinder needs replaced, which is not an easy task to find, but we'll figure that out when we get there. That's not today's problem. Today's problem was getting this rim back on here so that I didn't lose any of the pieces, and then, you know, getting it in the right direction that I might actually be able to paint it and get the process started. That's what I'm after, you know. Even if we failed today and didn't get it done, we're on the right track. So I'm gonna go get some JB Weld, I think, in town. Some nice, fresh, clean JB Weld. And then that will let me do this, and then I'll get this painted, and then life will be just everything we hoped and dreamed it would. And maybe in the next week, the snow will melt away. If it's gonna be in the 50s and 60s, that ought to put the hurt on the snow pretty good. And then maybe it'll put the hurt on the ice in the transmission here or whatever. But that's a good to note that whenever it's warm and we start this up again, we should probably think about draining it all out and changing her with something else. But I mean, it's got to be warm outside so that it all drains out of there. Otherwise, there could be still an ice cube in there, and we change all the oil, and then it's still got water in it when the ice thaws. So we don't want that. So until next time, friends, I'm going to leave this one here. Sorry it wasn't more interesting, but as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Do you suffer from low intelligence and are easily entertained? Well, then hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment. And that way we can keep making entertainment that your feeble minds can understand. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.